When talking about Sonic, classic Sonic specifically, there's a lot to think about. Sonic 1 is the first to ever do it, boasting its momentum gameplay which was revolutionary for the time, even if it oddly enough has a lot of slow areas. Sonic 2 is considered the middle child of the original trilogy, boasting a whole new character which would become a staple of the franchise, but also most likely the most iconic, totally not a reference Sonic transformation, refining the gameplay as the series hits its stride, while Sonic 3 is considered the de facto best Sonic experience. Not only does it introduce yet another iconic character, you can now properly play as these different characters for more replay value, also adding a transformation that continues to be relevant even nowadays despite receiving nothing. Of course, it didn't stop there. After all, we got Sonic Mania, which was very well loved, revitalizing old classics, and Sonic Superstars, which finally gave my favorite pink owl so much deserved attention. Sonic 1 isn't seen very positively nowadays. It obviously has its merits though. Sonic 2 is more or less just Sonic 1 but better, and Sonic 3 is easily the one that receives the most fan interaction. Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited being a fan project that adds multiple quality of life features to the game, as well as all sorts of other fun stuff. Although, a few keen-eyed among you would notice a lack of mention of a specific, divisive game. While the Sega Technical Institute was working on what would become Sonic 2, Sega of Japan needed a game to debut the Mega CD, and they knew that they needed to use their already iconic blue mascot to take full advantage of the new software. And of course, the game they ended up developing went on to be my favorite Sonic game. Okay, first things first, thank you so much for the support on the first video, despite a few errors on my part. I honestly wanted to respond to every single comment at first, but after it reached 10,000 views, I actually got a bit overwhelmed. Follow me on Twitter! I post there sometimes, mostly OC art more than anything, while I'll post any channel specific art both on the post tab and on the Twitter. I also have a Ko-Fi if you want to support me, absolutely optional though, don't stress it at all. With that all out of the way, the game's plot is very simple. Eggman invades Little Planet with robot transporters to ensure he's able to control Little Planet's past and future, and Sonic is there to reverse or put a halt to the damage being done. Sonic CD is a bit of an oddball among the other classic Sonic titles though. It doesn't follow what would become the standard Sonic game formula. The level design is, well, kind of weird, since here, instead of using Sonic Speed to complete the level as fast as possible, Sonic CD's level design is much more focused on exploration. Here, Sonic is gifted with the ability to do the Super Peel Out, functioning very similar to how the Spin Dash does, the peel out serving to reach areas you normally wouldn't be able to, which introduces the main gimmick of the game, time travel, the little MacGuffin original to the Little Planet, the time stones. Simply keep a consistent speed after passing through one of these signposts, and you'll end up in either the past or future version of whichever level you're playing, with you directly being what causes either the good or bad future of these places, boasting all new looks and soundtracks representing the state of the area. If you go through the effort of going to the past to undo Eggman's damage, you'll end up with a vibrant, peaceful, good future version of each stage. Neglect the past entirely and you'll get a twisted, mechanized, and dead version of the level. This applies to the music too, sometimes sounding only barely like the original track as if it's something entirely new, but what remains still tries to shine through. I love this not only because of how simply cool it all looks, I mean, absolute props for Hiroyuki Kawaguchi, but mostly because of how central the main collectible of the game, the Time Stones, play a role directly in the outcome of the game's ending. Sonic 1 introduced the Emeralds, but they don't really do much in either gameplay or lore. The game just kind of teases you about not getting them. Sonic 2 introduced Super Sonic, a physical achievement of your efforts, although you could have just not gotten them, and you're fine. Sonic 3 onwards had games where the emeralds ranged from irrelevant to being the key to defeating the big evil bad. But in Sonic CD, collecting the time stones guarantees they're out of Eggman's grasp and Little Planet is safe. Failure means the planet's doomed. You let Little Planet itself be enslaved by not changing the past or gaining the time stones, so until you break the cycle, it'll keep reappearing and Eggman will keep his attempts on the planet until you put a definite stop to it. It makes you see what effects your neglect has upon this world, and it challenges you to bring it to peace. Although, Eggman isn't the only one trying to stop you. Yes, he's the main antagonist, but that doesn't mean that his extra special force isn't a whole different beast in itself.
Sonic, dead or alive, is mine.
Here is Metal Sonic, a robotic version of the Blue Blur, sharing his speed and power, using it to help Eggman seize control of Little Planet. Absolutely no questions asked. This is my favorite Sonic rival. Sonic has had multiple over the years. In the classic era it was Knuckles, but he had to make up what he lacked in speed for his sheer strength. For his modern era, there's a few options, ranging from Jet to Blaze to, more recently, Surge from IDW, but Shadow is the most popular pick. He can match Sonic's speed and has his own abilities, but Metal Sonic is, for me, the best Sonic rival. Not only because of how intimidating he is, but how he's almost a mockery of what Sonic is. Where Sonic has a friendly, rounded shape to him, his limbs bending almost like a cartoon, his expressions being the core key to his design to make up for his lack of voice, Metal Sonic is extremely sharp. From his spines to his fingers and nose, which straight up just looks like spikes. His metallic body unable to produce any expression aside from a cold, dead stare. Though I find this design extremely charming because, I mean, look at this guy. And I mean, look at him. Did Eggman really need to give this guy his little ears? The nose? It's kind of cute when you think about it, especially since these two are almost treated like a father and son. Metal Sonic is featured in every past version of the levels, depicting him squashing the innocent creatures that inhabit Little Planet. Where he really gets his shine is the iconic Stardust Speedway. Here, for the first time ever, Sonic is not tested on his strength or wit, but his most prominent feature that is boasted every time you speak of him, his speed. Behind them, Eggman shoots a beam that threatens to hit whoever's slowest, being a race to the death. Something you don't see very often nowadays. The stakes not only being a game over, but Rosie the Rascal, or more known as Amy Rose, having been captured by Metal Sonic. You can find her in the first level of the game, and despite this being her debut game, she unfortunately doesn't get to do much. I love her classic design though, it's so pleasant. Thank the sky that Superstars and Origins made her playable. She's one of my favorite Sonic characters. Okay, getting back to Metal, it's just so damn fitting for Metal Sonic. Him challenging you to a race, even mimicking Sonic's mannerisms. It's a shame to me that this character is so neglected nowadays because he truly has a lot of potential for being a serious threat to the cast. But maybe that'll be the subject of a future video. Of course, you can't talk about Sonic CD without mentioning the music or its awesome animation. Seriously, these sequences of animation have had a chokehold on the Sonic fandom for the longest time, purely because they capture Sonic's essence so beautifully well. It's the classic Sonic at his coolest, and I doubt we'll ever see anything like it again. A fun fact that not everybody knows is that this was animated by Studio Junio, most known for these animations as well as doing a good chunk of episodes for Dragon Ball. A lot of people mistakenly call this Sonic Toei Sonic, when in fact Junio was one of the studios that worked alongside Toei, not Toei that animated it. As for the music, I've been playing it throughout the video, and simply, I just adore the OST of this game. The thing though is that there are two soundtracks for whatever reason. Of course, I favor the Japanese soundtrack, but the US tracks definitely have their appeal. I find that the easiest way to explain it is that the Japanese goes for melody and an energetic sound, while the US is more focused on ambient and diverse. I always find it refreshing when this sort of thing happens, seeing what two different musical teams thought of when composing for the same levels. Even more impressive considering the time crunch the US composer was put under. Fittingly, it adds to the theme of duality that the game shares in almost every aspect, from the good bad futures to Sonic Metal Sonic. It just wraps up it all in a nice little bow. And well, all of that is why I love Sonic CD. It's not my most played Sonic game, that goes to Sonic Mania, which I love dearly as well, but Sonic CD all around is just so cool to me. Its aesthetic, music, characters, they're so incredibly charming that I can't help but have this as my favorite Sonic game. You could also argue that it spawned what would become the Sonic.exe fandom. Well, while not an EXE, Majin is very much a part of the discussion when it comes to all of that. I've even seen him grouped together with a lot of the EXEs. I just think that's really funny, when it was honestly just an inside joke from the developers. With all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.